Alright, guys. I'm starting it. I'm starting it now. Okay, I'm tired of
All right.
all the setup and everything. Good evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Sports Goofs here. Andrew, Charles. We actually do have a new member of the crew, but he couldn't make it.
He's sick.
He's out in L.A. actually, and but we'll introduce him properly next time. And then, of course, Doug is somewhere out in the sports world. We're gonna figure out where he is. Nice. Okay, let's see if this is this working, guys. It should be working, but I'm not even sure. It might be a connection problem because I've been having connection issues here. But
How long? Alright, looks like it's live up on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I think we're back up on YouTube as well.
are we now? Okay, so if that's the case,
Yeah,
welcome
we're back
everybody.
up on both.
Okay, welcome everybody. I think to Sports Goofs. Francisco and Andrew here. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
We actually had technical difficulties. Yeah, so we have a lot of topics on for tonight. NBA, NHL games. NFL, a lot of news, a ton of news, super metric ton of news from the end of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God the Jaguars and Dolphins season is over.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the Titans season is over for Charles. And this is the second time we're actually saying this.
So we're reopening the wound that was already opened.
Yeah, but he did congratulate the Colts, and actually the Colts hit on a bunch of their draft picks. It kind of led their resurgence, if you will, under Captain Andrew Luck and his regiment.
Mm-hmm. Regimen. Or regiment.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly.
Regimen is something else.
Yeah.
Regiment.
And the Heat are playing the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. That's the game I'm watching for the NBA, and then later on is the Thunder versus the Lakers, and then NHL is the Avalanche and Sharks are the games that I'm watching. But yeah, Charles, what the heck happened with the Titans?
Basically the injury bug that is Marcus Mariota, and then having to start Blaine Gabbert. I mean, Blaine's been serviceable this year. He's won us a couple of games, but I feel sometimes, especially for our defense, we have a bad tendency of playing down to our competition. And we have to kind of squeak away wins, and we're squeaking away wins with Mariota at the helm, and he's not there. So I think sometimes the whole team gets kind of bummed out when they're not seeing their electric, their electric, dynamic offensive leader there for them, and we're just kind of like stuck there saying, all right, what happened? I mean, we gave the Colts some fits. I knew Luck threw that pick six, so I felt like Ruth, but we've been kind of bad offensively throughout the year. I think Matt LaFleur, if he doesn't get hired by somebody else as a coach or an OC elsewhere,
Right.
hasn't definitely really understand his talent. I don't think he understands his talent. I know that sounds kind of, wrong to say because he basically said, hey, you have 1,000-yard rusher with Derrick Henry, but he only took like the last 4 games of the season to figure it out, and then Deion Lewis is all but disappeared. Corey Davis kind of took the step up, but no Mariota. I mean, Blaine Gabbert, going back to him, he's inconsistent. His accuracy doesn't have that deep ball that comes in there.
He did save you for one game, though.
He did, and that's the thing. Sometimes when you get a backup, you just have to be serviceable. You're not going to be a starting quality, quarterback unless your name is Nick Foles, and the guy deserves all the money he can get. But for us, it's just kind of we miss out on some opportunities. I don't think our head was in the game, and the Colts were a better team. So we go 9-7 for 30 in a row. So we are, and it's interesting. We do it with a different head coach this time, and Mike Vrabel instead of Mark Malarkey. And so you put it to rest. I mean, I don't know. Even though we didn't make it, I'm still going to watch the playoffs. I'm very excited for it. Because usually sometimes the wild card playoffs can kind of be a bit of a bummer. But I think we have a lot of good games to come up with it. And hey, my head coach didn't get fired, unlike certain people down in Miami. So we'll take it as a win.
Yeah, I know. There's 8 head coaching vacancies. So that's a quarter of the league that's available for this coaching carousel. So I guess we'll immediately go here. The Miami Dolphins are terrible. This is going to be the last one for at least until I would say the NFL draft this year, when the Dolphins will probably screw that up. The Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross finally got the balls to do something and fired Adam Gase. It looked like that final game of the season against the Buffalo Bills of all teams, they got utterly destroyed. And
Josh Allen looked like a god.
yeah, they made Josh Allen look like a god, and that's just it's just terrible. It's just really terrible. We finally got to a point where it looked like the players finally gave up on Adam Gase and his stubbornness. That's one of the, I guess, the biggest issues of him, or maybe one of the things he needs to learn if he wants to continue with this head coaching stuff, is he was a bit stubborn. The Dolphins never really established any sort of offensive identity. I know he was, quote unquote, the quarterback guru, or this offensive guru, which honestly we didn't really get to see much in Miami. Maybe one or two trick plays. The Wildcat they would throw out every once in a while. The fact that the Dolphins even scored, what was that play? They played the Philadelphia play, whatever, or
Philly.
Yeah, so that was the only way they could score. So, it's pretty bad when they have to do that just to score. Usually you don't throw that out until, like, I don't know, you're messing around with the other team. But, gosh, Adam Gase is finally gone, and Stephen Ross has some things to really think about, because he, in his announcement, said that this might take 3 or 4 seasons just to get it all back together. And I know he's like 78 years old, and he wishes he didn't have to do that. But, all of the mistakes that they made previously led up to this. So here we are. I don't know who would take this head coaching gig, because you're essentially telling the guy who's coming in, you have no real control over the roster, and we might actually want to suck the next couple of seasons, just so we could have a franchise quarterback, or
do a season-long tank bowl.
I've been calling for it for many years now.
A season-long tank bowl?
And now maybe the Dolphins might have the gumption to do it.
Ooh, nice word.
So here's to the tank, everybody. Tank in 2019. That's what was it. What's the hashtag the Dolphins should do for this season, this upcoming? Who should they go after? I mean, they need a QB, but
Here for Greer.
So that's the Arizona Cardinals won the tank this season, this past 2018 season. So congratulations to them. Good job, Cardinals. You guys have finally sunk as low as the Phoenix Suns. So,
ouch.
Everything's going really well out there in Arizona for their sports. I mean, I thought it was bad here, but they've got the Phoenix Suns, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Arizona Cardinals, and even the Diamondbacks fell apart last season. So,
well, you know what this means? We need to make tank tops for the NFL teams.
Oh no, that actually is kind of my hope now, is that we could do this every season for every sport.
The problem though is it doesn't work as well, because NBA jerseys are basically glorified tank tops.
Yeah, I know.
Football jerseys are not tank tops, but I think we should still call them tank tops.
All right, so the NFL playoffs, Arizona Cardinals, the coaching carousel is happening, so we'll see what happens after that. What's your most anticipated playoff game for the wild card round?
I'm really interested in the Ravens and the San Diego Chargers. Rivers has wide receivers that can make plays. I mean, the Ravens came out strong in their game against the Browns, but in the second half, especially when we got down the fourth quarter, they just were very tired on defense. And all you could do with Lamar Jackson was just kind of do your kind of quarterback power options, quarterback sweeps, and they have anybody really throw to. I mean, Willie Snead, John Brown, and Crabtree, they all look very quiet, whereas if it's got to be a last-minute thing just to get a field goal, I think I put faith in Philip Rivers sending out to Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, and even the returning Hunter Henry, and also Melvin Gordon's back, but they'll limit him out a little bit. But it's going to be brutal. I think it's going to be a little nasty. It's going to be played in Baltimore, so how the weather's going to be. But I think it's going to be good. Definitely excited for that.
I can actually chime in this time because I actually do follow the NFL.
What's yours then?
This is for Chargers Ravens.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Well, are you covering any specific game, or are you just overall?
No, I mean overall, which is your more anticipated wild card game coming up? I mean, for me, it would be the battle for the AFC South between Indiana and Houston.
That's a good one.
Or Indianapolis and Houston. Some people actually have an issue with whether you say Indiana or Indianapolis for the Colts, but whatever. You guys have a long name, so screw it. I just want to see if the Colts can kind of keep this gravy train going.
Gravy train.
Because it's been fun to see. I like Andrew Luck because he's the Dolphins quarterback that he should have been the Dolphins quarterback. That's all I'm saying. The Dolphins ruined him, and I just look at him from afar and think, what could have been? So I'm hoping for success on his part, so the Dolphins fan in me can feel even more terrible as he continues his successful career before he goes into Canton, Ohio. And Ryan Tannehill is a very bizarre and 7-year-long footnote in Dolphins history.
A future XFL quarterback in the making.
Or AAF. Don't forget the AAF. I always have to make a plug for them because they have the Orlando team.
His dad, I was thinking Andrew Luck, his dad, is, I think, president or vice president for the XFL. So, he'll probably put Tannehill good work for him.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Oliver Luck, I believe, before I run my mouth, I'll just kind of fully verify it. But I know one of the offers that he made was, yes, he is currently CEO commissioner of the XFL.
And actually, while we're on the XFL, I'll just quick diversion. They finally announced what cities the XFL is going into.
Okay.
I'm about a month late to this, but I didn't find out about this until a week or so ago. It was very unheralded. So the XFL teams, do you guys know them yet, or is this...
I'm assuming Vegas?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, okay.
So we've got Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, and I'll say the stadiums as well. Dallas is Globe Life Park.
So
but they start in 2020, so that means the Rangers will be out by then.
So they're gonna play in the Rangers' old ballpark,
correct,
or current ballpark right now. So
by then it'll be their old ballpark. So it'll be like a Turner Field kind of situation, I assume. That
is strange. Okay.
Well, I will say they'll probably have the nicest stadium. I love Globe Life Park. That's something on my bucket list before it closes, is to get out there, because that's such an old time type stadium. So you've got Dallas. Houston is going to play in TDECU Stadium, which is where the Houston Cougars football plays.
Okay.
Los Angeles will be at StubHub Center.
Wow. That's such a rough decision right there, because they can't even get people to go see their two professional teams.
Yeah, that's. I mean, people don't want to see the Chargers, and the Chargers are actually a good team this season. What makes them think that they're going to watch the XFL?
I don't know.
Okay.
So, New York, although, wow, they're going to be playing in MetLife Stadium.
So, Wow.
So
I would assume just lower bowl is being sold
I would think so,
with suites.
because dang, all right. So I'll keep going. Seattle is going to be playing in CenturyLink Field.
So they're actually sharing these NFL stadiums?
Surprisingly, yeah.
Wow.
At least they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't share Houston with the Texans. Next city is St. Louis.
I'm surprised they're not playing at the Astrodome at this point.
That would have been a good idea. St. Louis, they're playing at something called the Dome.
Oh, well, that's the Edward Jones. It's where the Rams were playing.
Okay.
It's empty. Might as well use it.
So
that actually makes sense.
They're filling the void there. City 7 is Tampa. They're playing at Raymond James Stadium, or Ray J, as everyone likes to call it.
They're not playing in Orlando.
Well, AAF has Orlando.
Okay. Okay. So.
And then number 8 is Washington, D.C. They'll be playing at Audi Field or Audi Field. That's where D.C. United, the MLS team, plays.
All right.
So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the teams, or not the teams,
or the venues?
Right, and the team names haven't been announced yet. They've just announced the cities and locations.
Okay, the cities. Like I don't know why they wouldn't go for a slightly minor league feel and just be in smaller towns where people might actually want to have a connection with their cities, because there's some pretty good minor league sports towns out there that people actually go to see their teams. Like they could have put a team out in Memphis, maybe played a team.
Well, Memphis is covered by the AAF.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble on
I
that
think
one.
venues, MLS parks, and college football stadiums, or at least older college football stadiums, is probably the way it should have gone. I mean, I can't see them having much of an audience unless they're really gonna make this like a freak show type of thing, like basically, or making it the WWE, literally the WWE of football, where maybe they're not actual competitive games in the sense of professional football, but kind of like professional wrestling, where they kind of make it a soap opera for men, but for football. I could get behind that with like these like actual cast of characters where they actually have to write in their storylines, have their rivalries, maybe have a cage match every once in a while. Maybe they'll have like a penalty box like the NHL.
Yes.
And have like you get a personal foul, whatever, or any sort of holding penalty, go inside the cage, and you'll have to wrestle another guy on the other team, and whoever comes out will decide whether they accept or decline the penalty. I don't know.
I like that. That would be great. Unfortunately, Vince McMahon is trying to be professional about this, so no more scantily clad cheerleaders, anything like that. He wants to play it above board, I suppose.
I don't know. I'd really love.
I would love to watch that.
I would love to see some of these ex-NFL players pretending to know their lines. I'd like to see Vince Young out there.
You can do it.
All right, what about you?
I gotta chime in on that one real quickly. The best way to deal with overtime is just to put each captain in a steel cage match. Is gonna win. I would be fully supportive of that. For the audience out there, I'm a big wrestling fan, so this kind of speaks to me a little bit. But I mean, all I gotta say is just
honestly, Charles, how would you WWEify football?
First off, all right, this is how you WWEify football. You're not going for a Super Bowl ring. You're making it into a championship, a title, belt, something they can wear on. That's the first step. It's got to be glorious. It's got to be gaudy. It's got to be like the Ric Flair WCW
Woo!
belt thing. Not some rings. Who cares about rings? Rings is just for marriage. All right, we're men here.
That's going to be the tagline of this episode. Rings are just for marriage.
Exactly. We wear belts. You get the most. You get entrance themes. You know. We're not talking about them cheesy kind of
fight songs.
You're Miami Dolphins. You're getting some like Goldberg-esque
come out with fireworks.
Yeah.
The Georgia Jackhammers, and that's what you gotta name your teams. You gotta name them from the different finisher moves throughout the years. The Connecticut pedigree for Triple H, the Hollywood leg drop for the Hulk Hogan leg drop. We can make this. We can probably make it better. Vince, hire me. I'm your guy. I'll also help book your wrestling shows better to make Raw and SmackDown work. We'll compete against All Elite Wrestling, who is getting funded by Tony Khan, co-chairman of the Jacksonville Jaguars, son of Shahir Khan. So look, we brought it all back to the spectrum here because now wrestling and football is closer than we think. Those are a couple suggestions. I've had my geek out moment.
Honestly, this is the way they should go.
Yes, they should.
They should make it. It really should. Just make it what was it? What's freaking Ice Cube's basketball league?
The Big Three.
The Big Three. Make it like that, where it's like a traveling show, if you will, between these teams, quotation marks, and just have it at these different venues. Maybe just have it following the WWE shows. Oh, Monday Night Raw is at the BB&T Center this week. And hey, if you're in town, check out the Miami Marauders versus the Los Angeles Conquistadors at the Boca Raton Stadium. As looks like Vince Young is angry at EJ Manuel for stealing his cheerleader girlfriend. I don't know. Let's see if they can settle out in the octagon-ish football field. Have a different shaped football field if you want.
You could do something like NFL Street where it's high sides.
Oh,
so you could jump off the wall to make these catches.
I could see that for the. So literally put the field next to the wall. It would work at that.
Have you ever seen NFL Street?
Yeah, for like PS2 and like Xbox and GameCube.
It's pretty much anything is game. You can jump off and catch things. That would be great. I would love that.
There's gonna be a lot of torn ACLs in our league, but it'll be fun.
Be like Blitz the League, where, well, I don't want to go into that because that glorifies injury, and some of those are pretty gruesome.
Unless we can, well, the idea is to wrestle WWEify it. So you'd have to teach the players how to tackle, but in a way that it looks like they're hurting each other, but they're not.
Right.
So just have these, instead of actual NFL coaches, actually just have wrestlers as the coaches for their teams. So as they're going through their WWE season, they're promoting their teams. It's like, you know what? After like a loss, you know what? We're going to have to settle this at the football field. We're going to have, I don't know why I keep picking on Vince Young, but
Yeah, I mean, he's like 6'4", 240 pounds. It would be like Vince McMahon's big dream to get for a heavyweight champ.
Or Johnny Manziel, although Vince McMahon...
I could see Johnny Football doing really well in this league as far as being like a heel.
Yeah.
Okay?
No doubt.
He'd be the perfect heel. Okay? Big, rich boy, thinks whatever, thinks he's the hot shot of the world. Like, he could be a good heel in this football league. Gosh, man, man, I'm excited for this, man.
And for anyone listening, this was absolutely not planned, this discussion.
But it's definitely where the XFL should go.
I enjoyed this discussion. We'll have to come back to it.
All right. Yeah.
You want to get that game going?
I don't think my computer can handle it today, guys.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
I'm still working towards getting a better PC, but I actually do want to transition to where in the sports world is Doug. Okay, our good buddy Doug. He never seems to be here because he's out in the sports world just making it rain.
Or he's just in his office working.
But somewhere not in his office, like he's out working someplace in the sports world.
Ooh.
So guys, I'm gonna give you some clues. You guys have to figure out where the heck Doug is in the sports world.
All right, let's do this.
So this city was founded in 1777, but not officially incorporated until 1852. It has a population of 122,725 people as of, I don't know when, 2016 or something. It is home to tech companies such as Intel and Sun Microsystems.
Do you want to take a guess at that one?
Where is Doug? Where's he sitting at?
Can I say he's in the Northeast?
No.
He's obviously not in Seattle because the population is way too small.
Right.
Say Portland?
Getting warmer.
Okay. Ow.
Okay. It is part of the San Jose metropolitan area.
Sacramento?
Nope. Getting warmer.
I'm bringing out a map.
Wait, which metro area did you say?
San Jose.
Oh, so that's way south. No. San Jose's north, right?
Right.
Is he actually in San Jose?
No. But it's around San Jose. If I give you the last clue, you guys will know it.
All right.
Nevada.
Before
Where?
Nevada.
No, not Nevada.
Is he in California? Well, obviously
Yes,
he's
he's in California, yes. So it's near San Jose.
And there's a pro sports team here?
There's a pro sports team here, but it's the municipality is not the name of the region of the team, but it's where it's something important's about to happen there.
Oh, is he in Santa Clara?
Yes, he is in Santa Clara. Home of the San Francisco 49ers and Levi's Stadium, and, of course,
the 2019 College Football Playoff Championship, which I'm actually obligated basically to bring this up, is not the official FBS championship because there is no universal FBS championship. It's not like a unified belt in bringing it back to wrestling. Or boxing or whatever.
Okay.
Sorry.
you needed to get that off of your chest.
I needed to get that off my chest.
Yeah, because we're going to college football now. A lot of bowl games happened, the most important of which was the Sun Bowl. In El Paso, Texas. It was actually a squeaker of a game. The Stanford Cardinal defeated the Pittsburgh Panthers 14-13.
I gotta be honest. This bowl season has been hot and cold. You've had incredible games. Actually, I can't think of any right now, but there have been some. And then you've had these complete and utter disasters. I'm not sure if you guys been following, but the Cheez-Its Bowl, that actually is a bowl. It's played at... I'm just going to call it Bank One Ballpark.
Okay,
where the
Diamondbacks
play.
Okay.
That was like 7-6 was the final score, and there were 9 turnovers. It was just an ugly, ugly game. The Clemson semifinal against Notre Dame was complete and utter trash.
Yeah.
There was a 30-3 blowout over in Arlington at the Cotton Bowl. And then Oklahoma made the Orange Bowl semifinal interesting, but it was, no offense to Oklahoma, but that was pretty much destined to be the result from the end. They got a few good touchdowns at the end to make it close, but it was really Alabama all the way.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, this college football bowl season for me, I mean...
Which is non-existent for you, Mr. Seminole.
Yeah, I know. That's. But even then, like, hearing it on sports radio, I think there's kind of a burnout in some sense after a while. Because there's so many bowl games that, honestly, do most of them even truly matter between some... I don't find a matchup between 2 7-6 teams very appealing at... I don't know, the middle of nowhere in some other state that you don't really care about because you're not from there.
I used to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I think there are... I'll have to look this up. There are... How many bowl games are there?
Honestly, like, I think some of these sponsors are trying to, like, I honestly think some of them are trying to figure out, man, how ridiculous of a name can we make this bowl game?
There are 40 bowl games this year.
40 bowl games. Dear Lord. That's 40 too many. Other than the Orange Bowl and the big ones,
The six.
the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, was it the
Sugar,
Sugar Bowl,
Cotton,
the Cotton Bowl, the
Peach.
Peach Bowl, and the Rose Bowl, and the Sun Bowl. Those are the only ones that really matter.
Well, like I said, I used to agree with you, but let me...
I mean, the Sun Bowl's been happening since the 30s.
Right.
Okay.
Let me give you the flip of the argument.
Okay.
Having been a fan of a team that, up until within the past X amount of years, we just went to these quote-unquote minor bowls. It's a way... It gives you a reason to actually... It gives you a reason to go for 6 wins. I mean, obviously... any team wants to win every game, but that's a huge milestone to be able to say we are bowl eligible. And for lots of teams like FIU, our beloved FIU, thanks to how the system is right now, they have no chance of getting to the playoff. I hate to admit it, but it is what it is. If UCF went on a 25-game win streak and still couldn't even make the top 5, let alone the top 4, there's no way that FIU, which played in just its 3rd bowl game this year and won its 2nd bowl game, is ever going to make the playoff. I hate to admit it. But it gives these guys something to play for at the end of the year. And it's not just the game itself. These guys get what are called swag bags or whatever.
That's true.
Like, for example, the only reason I keep bringing up UCF is because they're the one I follow the closest.
So the Outback Bowl guys all got gift cards to Outback Steakhouse?
I assume so.
Okay.
But like UCF, which is the PlayStation...
That might be worth it for some people.
So UCF, which played in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, all the guys got PlayStations, PS4s.
Oh, so... Okay, that could be some incentive.
And then there are other things that are called quote-unquote gift suites.
Right.
Where the bowl says, all right, you have X points. You can pick whatever the heck you want out of this selection, but you can only make it up to X points. So you could spend it all on a grand watch, just go for one really expensive thing, or you could get lots of like medium or small little things. And players get like watches. Some bowls they get personalized memorabilia, you name it. So, and then usually these players get like a commemorative jersey because it's a special edition jersey.
Okay.
But then also, like, FIU went to the Bahamas Bowl. My guess is none of these guys have been to the Bahamas before. And that's as exciting as heck. And plus, they get the chance to play for a trophy. So, I know there are a ton of these games, but it's almost in a way kind of a way for the players to celebrate themselves, their fans, as a way to kind of say thank you and also to cap off the season in a fun way. Okay.
I mean, that's a good, interesting perspective to hear from. It's just different for me because I come from a football powerhouse school, and if you're not in one of those 6 bowl games or fighting for a national championship, the season's a failure.
Right.
So who cares about going to the Camping World Bowl, and getting an RV rental for free?
And don't get me wrong.
for a Seminole player,
And don't get me wrong, all 130 teams in FBS, they want to play for the national championship. It's just who they are. They're there for a reason. They're the cream of the crop. That's the top flight of college football. So they all would love to play for the national championship, but unfortunately, at this point, only 4 teams can. So for 126 teams, it's something else that they can look forward to at the end of the year.
Yeah. What do you think, Charles?
I mean, I'm not bothered by it. It is a lot, but I'm gonna look at it from a entertainment viewing aspect. As a fan, it's good to kind of put on notice certain guys are getting drafted, right? If you're big into football, but you don't like the college football setting where you're just kind of not a mainstay, but just a casual viewer, put you in like a viewing of some guys. The games can be entertaining. It's hot and cold this year, but partly that's just because some guys just kind of proverbially poop the bed, after a long season, and then they get there, and it also depends on what I find college football, and you don't see this a lot in the professionals. There's a lot of schools that you hate, and you take joy in seeing them lose. So, like, for example, Michigan versus Florida. I think people who are very combative because they don't like Florida Gators, so they want Michigan to win, but they don't like Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. So, like, what do we do? So, I mean, I find that to be entertaining, and by the way, kind of called that where Michigan lost or pooped the bed proverbially, but I'll keep that to myself for now. But it's just for the entertainment aspect. There are a lot of bowls that are ridiculous, but for the players, as Andrew said, hey, it's going to help them out for us. It's all about that money, it's that revenue, it's that stream of what the big TV guys can get, and just for the viewers, because let's be fair, sometimes when we have weekends, there's nothing on for people to put something on background noise, and then, we're very much of in excess for a lot of sports today, where everything has to be a highlight. So, if you're going to have 40 games, that means you have a possibility of 40 highlights to come in. Whether you have the whole AutoZone Bowl Nation thing going on, or the Walmart Bowl, or the Chick-fil-A Bowl, some people might like it.
Wonder if there's anybody who's actually sitting there is like, man, I really do love McDonald's. So I'm going to watch this McDonald's Bowl and see if I can win myself a Big Mac.
Think about it this way. I think that's how I can explain it to you. From the pros, the NFL to now. My Tennessee Titans went 9-7. We don't have the feel-good sensation of just being, hey, you're above 500, here's a cookie. This is a good way, just for, because at the end of the day, they're young players, they're kids, and I can say that because I'm a little bit older. They get the glorification of being above 500 or 500. It'll change once they hit the pros or the XFL and AAF, but let them have it. Let them have their moment.
Okay. And then also bear in mind, for like 99.9% of players, I don't know what the percentage is, these guys aren't going to be going pro. This is it. This is the end of the line for them.
Very true.
So this is, I know some people say, ooh, it's a participation trophy. I think it's more than that, personally, because you still have to play for it, and even if you don't, you're still getting something out of it. Plus, the conferences get huge payouts depending on the bowl. So it
is benefiting somebody. Okay. Even when you have announced quotation mark crowds of 45K and empty seat pics on Twitter is showing just swaths of empty seats where it looks like a Marlins game, more poking fun at myself for you guys. Okay. So that's college football talk. I wanted to get into some quick hockey talk here. NHL's had their Winter Classic. Yesterday on New Year's Day between the Boston Bruins. Sorry, I almost said Celtics. And the Chicago Blackhawks at the Notre Dame Stadium, and they actually put on more of a show than Notre Dame themselves. For that game.
I hope there are some Notre Dame fans watching. I'd love to get their reaction to that. That's a huge burn.
Oh, they sucked. Okay.
Yeah,
they sucked. Okay. There's like when the Broncos faced the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, they sucked that one. That's Peyton Manning as a Hall of Famer. So
yeah.
Okay, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish embarrassed themselves in front of national audience. Okay, like they had people saying, man, should we have Notre Dame in these games anymore, because they've sucked in them since 2000.
Here's a fun fact: UCF has won more BCS and New Year's Six games than Notre Dame has. Again, I apologize. I keep bringing up UCF and all this trivia stuff, but I've been a UCF fan since 2010, and I live, breathe UCF, so I know all this fun stuff. But Notre Dame just sucks.
Like they sucked in their last national championship against the
Crimson Tide.
Against the Crimson Tide. Like they've been embarrassing to the point where people are like, man, maybe they should join the rest of the ACC and actually play for something instead of, at least they would have gotten their embarrassment out of the way against Clemson beforehand.
Right.
And we could have seen, I don't know, Ohio State or somebody playing them.
I think UCF would have had a better shot at scoring it.
Even if you guys got embarrassed for that, okay, at the very least, you guys played for it, and okay, we took our shot.
And we would have scored more than 3 points. I'm sorry.
You would have scored.
We would have scored more than 3 points.
Sheesh.
They scored a field goal.
At least get a safety. At least make it interesting. Gosh.
That's just complete and utter decimation.
Man.
I don't I know Notre Dame is a blue blood, a historic team going back to the 1900s.
All the more reason for us to make fun of them.
But this isn't the 80s anymore, where they were winning national championships.
If the New York Yankees, sorry Charles, but if the New York Yankees, and he'd admit to it, I know you'd admit to it. If the New York Yankees went to the World Series and lost in a sweep, and were just utterly destroyed in all 4 games, you'd say, yeah, that was terrible, right?
Yeah.
But not just a sweep implies that it could be like 4-3.
No, I'm saying they got they utterly got destroyed.
They just got decimated.
Right.
That's happened in certain World Series, the Red Sox versus the Colorado Rockies, and part of the playoff process is the journey to the end, and you're not sticking the landing as a fan of the sports room when you can't even win one game. I mean, look, I think everybody likes that supreme dominant being that eventually wins out. Man, you're not having fun with it. It feels like a waste. So I think the same thing going to Notre Dame is just like, all right, we had conversations in the past and other episodes about, hey, this is not the proper team to get in there. They haven't really tested their mettle, and yeah, they're undefeated, but it's kind of like undefeated with an asterisk, and this is why there was an asterisk, because they literally pooped the bed.
Yeah. All right, that was a tangent, but but they did suck.
That was a tangent by all of us. That's very rare for all of us to gang up on one.
We went
topic.
from hockey to college football, and we ended up in baseball for some reason.
Well, speaking of I guess we should finish up our hockey discussion.
So All-Star game is happening in San Jose this season. 4 captains have been selected for the little round-robin tournament that they have between the divisions.
Which I like, by the way. I think that was cool.
The Toronto Maple Leafs in the Atlantic gets Austin Matthews as their captain. So, with the way the Maple Leafs are super popular right now and that they're actually good, I totally saw that coming. Mm-hmm. It was either him or Steven Stamkos.
Although Nikita Kucherov is on a hell of a tear right now.
Exactly. And then Edmonton, Connor McJesus. He was the only one that you could choose, even though he's mired in Edmonton right now. Honestly, man, that guy, you just feel sorry for him. Because the Oilers of all teams, they have this fantastic superstar, and they just can't put a team around them.
And they've had fantastic superstars for who knows how long.
Well, they've had number one draft
Epperly,
picks. Yeah.
They've had
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, RNH. Well, he's still on the team, but
they just cannot. They are Notre Dame right now. They suck.
Well, the Washington Capitals got Alex Ovechkin,
but he's sitting out.
He is sitting out for the Metropolitan Division, so he will be suspended 1 game because of it.
Really?
Yeah, if you sit out the All-Star game, when you're selected, you'll be suspended 1 game.
Wow.
So he wanted to get some rest for the push. He wants to win another Stanley Cup.
I can understand that.
So he actually did it last season too, so it's not anything new. So most likely Sidney Crosby will replace him as captain. And then finally, Nathan McKinnon for the Avalanche Another good choice, actually. I see nothing wrong with that one at all.
Is he still on the Avs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, he is the Avs guy. Then finally, NHL, because of the Winter Classic, they usually announce all of their future cities for their big events next season. So next season, the All-Star Game will be hosted in St. Louis.
Ooh.
So the Blues, I think it might be their first time hosting it.
Well,
but
luckily I'm the researcher, so
so good on the Blues, even though they're kind of like the Panthers, where they just can't seem to get it together this season. But they've got Tarasenko and a good fan base, so they'll do pretty well in St. Louis for that game. The Winter Classic, this is the big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
The Winter Classic will be hosted at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas by the Stars.
that's going to be big because the Cotton Bowl has a very large capacity.
Yeah. This is the big surprise. So far, all of the Winter Classics have been in northern cities and northern areas. This is the first one that will be hosted in the south, south of the Mason-Dixon line. It is the Dallas Stars, who have been one of the model southern franchises in the NHL since they moved from Minnesota. They've got a Stanley Cup championship. They've got a good team right now, even though their GM totally ripped Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin like no other GM has ever done before. Like, I actually admired it, to be honest. Like, he called out his two superstars for not playing hard enough, and that's why the Stars aren't as good as they should be, according to him. Or it might have been the team president. I don't think it was the GM. But Dallas, it finally, I guess, hopefully people show up to this. Hopefully Dallas really does put on a show, because it would validate the southern markets in the NHL. It would open up maybe Tampa as a future host for this thing. I know that LA has already hosted a Stadium Series game between them and the Ducks at Dodger Stadium, but this is different. This is like LA is like a 50-year-old team. This is the Stars, who've
Are relative
25 seasons
in Dallas
right now, and they've actually cultivated a pretty nice hockey fan base. Over
and
there.
one of the best goal horns in the league.
Yeah, the goal horns, actually, for every score, they sound it off for every score. So it's, they score 3 goals, it's burr, 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 like it's fantastic.
But just the horn itself, the sound.
Yeah.
And by the way, to go back to your point, this will be the 3rd time St. Louis has hosted the.
Oh, okay.
They've hosted previously in.
They haven't hosted in a while, I'm assuming. But getting on to that,
they've hosted. I just had it.
Okay. So it's the Stars are hosting, but they haven't announced their opponent.
This is their 3rd time and their first since 1988.
Okay, so it has been a while. So it's been 21 years now.
Something like that.
I think it's confirmed that the opponent will not be the Blackhawks, much to the joy of hockey fans and even some Blackhawks fans who are kind of getting burnt out with this too. So my question would be, who should be the opponent?
Well, I mentioned to you before we went on air, but I really want the North Stars. The Minnesota Wild. Because, as we mentioned, the Dallas Stars, they used to play in Minnesota, but then they moved down there in, I think, 1993?
Yep.
They moved to Dallas in 93, so this would be 2 Minnesota franchises playing. So I would be disappointed if it's anything other than those 2 teams.
Okay. That's one. I see the argument for it, and and a lot of people would love that. My other one would be the Nashville Predators. Because, once again, another push towards validating the southern markets in the NHL.
True.
The Nashville Predators are awesome right now. Their fan base is probably the best one in the NHL at this point, as far as just making it look like going to their arena would be the most fun thing to do ever.
All your fault. It's all your fault.
That they have these chants. The outside of the arena, they have they have like some sort of vehicle that's like painted in the team colors of the opponent, and they just have people. You can just grab a sledgehammer and just go to town on that car. For the playoff series against the Winnipeg Jets last season, they actually brought a small airplane so that people could actually smash it up to bits.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. They throw catfish on the ice. That's their thing. They actually do have a catfish tank at the arena that you can take selfies with. And they've got all these country music stars who have just jumped on their bandwagon. It looks like just like a rocking good time. Some honky tonk hockey would be great to see them versus the Stars. That would for me, that would legitimize the Southern markets if they could fill up that Cotton Bowl with fans dressed in yellow and green, not needing a Northern franchise to prop up the game, because they could easily do that. Have the Dallas Stars facing off against the Detroit Red Wings or something, because that would be a historical matchup from the late 90s. But I don't think they should do that. If it's a Northern franchise, it should only be Minnesota. Other than that, like, the Stars don't really have a rivalry of any sort again with the Bruins or the Rangers or the Flyers or the Penguins. So it really opens up the possibility of a Southern team for that matchup. Heck, maybe throw in Tampa if you want, but I think the Predators would be, because they are division rivals.
Right. What about you, Charles? What do you think?
I'm in for Nashville, just because you sold me on the whole catfish thing. But you talked about it earlier, Francisco. You got to make a market push, and the Southern markets have been, for lack of a better word, dry. If you have a winning team, the idea they can carry over. If they have star brand, star name, look, it's a small state in Tennessee, small market Nashville, but they're trying to at least get sports in there with Memphis Grizzlies. And then, you have the Tennessee Titans, obviously, so there's a little bit biases for me. Come to Tennessee, it's fun. You can have fun with it. It would be refreshing for hockey. All-Star games, we talked about before we went on air, from you, Francisco, that at least fans will be there, enjoy it, and probably sit through all the periods, as opposed to going to the Pro Bowl for the NFL, All-Star games in baseball and basketball, where people are just there for the first half, and they're like, all right, we're out, because no one's taking it seriously.
I think the worst All-Star game is the NBA All-Star game. That's the worst of them all. Maybe the Pro Bowl. But I think the NBA All-Star game, just because of, I don't know, it has nothing. There's nothing for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get me to see, if you can treat this All-Star game like an exhibition where it kind of matters a little bit.
You know what we should do? We should get Vince McMahon in there. It's WWEify our All-Star games.
And he'll tell him, listen, rings don't matter here. Fat doesn't matter. Earn your keep.
Okay. All right. Then they announced the Heritage Classic, which is the Canadian outdoor game that happens every 2 seasons, is happening in a city that does not have an NHL franchise for the first time in this series. It'll be between the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames, and it will be played at the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. So it'll be in Regina, Saskatchewan.
And no, he actually is pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, it's not Regina, it's Regina. And that's an interesting thing. And a lot of people have noticed that it is actually the Battle of Atlanta.
True.
Because it is the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets, who used to be the Atlanta Flames and the Atlanta Thrashers, respectively. So
I wonder if that went into their thinking. I'm sure it did.
I think it's just a very, very fun coincidence. I don't think they really did think that through. But some people are saying maybe they should wear their throwbacks for both teams.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
The Flames in the flaming A and the and those powder blue Thrashers jerseys for the Jets. And then finally, the more interesting, I guess the most interesting of all of these is the Colorado Avalanche will face, well, they don't know the opponent, but they will be playing at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, home of the Falcons. They'll be playing a game out there, outside.
Which I think is cool. I mean, last year's Winter Classic, or was it a Stadium Series, was played over at at Navy,
right,
over in Annapolis.
Right.
So I think it's cool that you're getting going out there, playing in front of our current, former, and future troops. Gives them something cool to do. Colorado Springs is very cold at that time of year.
I don't know who would be the opponent. Who would be the rightful opponent for the Avalanche in this one?
Panthers.
Yeah, 1996 rematch. That's what everybody wants to see. I don't think it would be the Panthers, but
I guess maybe Vegas, because Nevada is probably
that would be interesting.
Nevada is pretty close to Colorado.
I was
all things being
thinking.
considered.
I don't think they would put Dallas, even because they'd already be hosting their own outdoor game.
Right.
Maybe I guess as a 90s throwback, you could have the New Jersey Devils. Just as a rematch of that 2001 Stanley Cup.
And then you could have...
And then there's always the
you could have them wear the Rockies jerseys.
Yeah.
New Jersey used to be the Colorado
That's
Rockies.
right. The Devils used to be the Rockies. Or you could just have a original 16, which I would assume would be the Red Wings, to have that, once again, throwback to the 90s.
Right.
Even though there's really nothing there anymore between those two teams. They're not even in the same conference. And that's really the big NHL news right now. Season's kind of humming along. The Lightning are still decimating opponents. And there's no really truly awful team just yet. Maybe the Senators. Maybe the Senators can get truly awful and we can see a glorious tank there. But they just traded for Anders Nielsen. So that's...
Can you still consider a tank bowl in hockey, even though they haven't played bowls?
The Tank Classic.
Tank Classic. Okay. I like that.
Okay. So we're halfway through, guys. We're halfway through. We get to our favorite segment here. We'll a word from our non-sponsors.
Excellent.
It's our kind of thing we always look forward to. So I don't know who wants to start this.
You want to go, Charles?
Yeah, I'll start it. This week's, for me, sponsors, because let me tell you, I'm thinking with my tummy. Dinner time is coming around. And after we get out of this, I'm going to go get myself a nice, big, heavy sandwich, burger. Maybe I'll get some wings from it. My non-sponsor this week is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh.
B-dubs.
Not much going on. B-dubs. Feels appropriate, because I was thinking about it. Let's go to a place that has all the screens on there so I can see all my sports, my whopping, 2 NBA games going on that I'm probably not to watch with LeBron, Lakers, and this time LeBron, and, Thunder just there with Westbrook being all sullen and playing like crap, and then seeing some college basketball teams that I don't know, but I'm hungry. And I want some food. Plus, the reason why I'm putting on blast a little bit is because they have a new burger that's basically, it's like somebody like me, a lazy bum, just put his chicken tenders on top of his burger and just ate it at one shot. Well, now you can get that. It's like $11.99. I forgot the name of it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Go think with your stomach, folks. My non-sponsors is B-dubs.
Promo code
hungry.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'll let you go next because I have to change mine at the last minute.
Okay. All right. So my non-sponsor is Puma. So Puma has been providing excellent footwear since 1948. They are based out of Germany, if you did not know. Puma is back in the game of basketball with current stars under their belt, including the 2018 number 1 draft pick of the Suns, DeAndre Ayton. He is a Puma dude. They have different collaborations with different brands and celebrities, including Pepsi, Sonic the Hedgehog, Transformers, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Rihanna, and Selena Gomez. I recently got some Puma shoes for Christmas, and Puma has been my brand for actually years now. as you can see, the panther seems to be my spirit animal. So Puma is kind of the I don't know. I just kind of gravitate towards them. They're really comfortable. I like all the different styles that they have. I have several different Puma shoes in different colors. They actually do match my caps, my hats, as Andrew and Charles know. I love
The dude always matches.
I love color coordinating myself. I was probably I stuck out like a sore thumb in law school because of it.
That in a way actually made me notice you, because I always notice, hey, the dude's always color matching.
I always accessorize with my shirts and my sleeves, my pants, my shorts, my socks, my laces, my shoes, my hats. Heck, if I had earrings and sunglasses, I would have done that too. But Puma is just my go-to footwear when it comes to either for running or even just for walking around. They got sandals. They sell hats. They sell shirts. They sell all kinds of sports apparel. And you know what? I've been wanting those shoes that I got for Christmas for quite a while. They're the ones that Selena Gomez wears, and I like feeling like Selena Gomez every once in a while. You know, I like feeling pretty. Okay, so if you want to feel pretty, you get some Pumas. All right. And fun fact: did you know that Puma and Adidas were once the same company?
I did know that.
They are they were founded by brothers, and the brothers actually had a spat. They split the companies. Puma on one side, Adidas on the other. They're both headquartered in the same place in Germany, and both brothers went to the graves hating each other. So, a nice thing to think about in this new year. The promo code is "Take It to Your Grave."
Take it to your grave. All right. Oh, that's tough. The one that I just thought of, you've already covered. Bummer.
Nintendo.
What the heck? I'll be more specific, and I'll go with Super Smash Brothers.
Actually, we did play it
That's
weeks
exactly
ago.
why. I played Super Smash Brothers for, I don't want to say the first time, but really the first kind of extended period of time ever. Was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
And even though it was on these very tiny little controllers.
Yeah, Charles, side note, everybody, I forgot my other Wii U, not Switch controller, and Andrew and I had the, I guess, unfortunate occurrence of playing with the Joy-Con on its side, which is a very, very small space to use for a controller, but somehow it worked.
And that was an absolute blast. I had so much fun with that, and I'm very mad at myself that I didn't get into it earlier. Although I never owned, I owned a SNES way back in the day, but no Nintendo consoles since then. But that was a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that he'll bring his controllers next time so we can actually play.
I do have my Switch here, so
Right.
I take it everywhere.
So that was a lot of fun. So my non-sponsor of the week is, and not to mention that there are so many little Easter eggs in that thing. I was genuinely surprised.
He actually got an assist trophy during one of our matches, and it was one of the Nintendogs. So you just see this toy poodle pop out in the middle of the screen, and he's actually blocking your view, but you're not really angry at it because it's a cute toy poodle. And he just started bursting out laughing. So just a ton of references. He loved Pac-Man. All the like arcade references. He's like, holy crap, that's Galaga.
And that hammer was really helpful as well.
Yeah, the hammer from Donkey Kong.
So yep, to Nintendo and Super Smash Brothers. That's my non-sponsor of the week, and promo code is Pleasant Surprise.
Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so we've got Puma, Super Smash Brothers again. That's our first repeat non-sponsor.
Well, that one
So thank you, Sakurai.
Yep.
You are a god to us. We shall not ask you for anything ever again. And Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what? Let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings with our Puma shoes and hook up Super Smash Brothers to their 40 TVs.
We should do a live show from B-Dubs at some point.
Actually,
I'm not against it.
yeah. All right, so wanted to get into one of our. I guess we haven't talked baseball in a while, mainly because it's the off season. But there was a big significant trade that did happen between the Los Angeles Dodgers and Cincinnati Reds, a 7-player deal. The LA Dodgers got Homer Bailey, Jeter Downs, who I'm surprised Derek Jeter didn't trade for him because his name is Jeter, and Josiah Gray, while the Cincinnati Reds got Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp, Alex Wood, Kyle Farmer, and $7 million. So, guys, what do you think? Who won, lost, or maybe they both lost this trade? I don't know.
Well, I guess I'll start since I haven't. Well, I guess I've started a little bit, but I'll go anyway. What the heck? I think the Reds won this one. I mean, I know that Homer Bailey is a heck of a player. He's a pitcher, right?
Charles.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
He
what
had
I
a
thought.
down year, but he was a highly sought guy after some time.
Wow, I just realized the irony of his name. I know he's a heck of a pitcher, and I think he instantly makes the Dodgers much better from a pitching standpoint because they need even more better pitch and even more good pitchers. I'm being sarcastic in case anyone couldn't tell, but I think ultimately the Reds went out in this one because you've got the human right arm cannon that is Yasiel Puig. You've got Matt Kemp. Who are the other two?
Matt Kemp, Yasiel Puig, Alex Wood, and Kyle Farmer, and $7 million.
Well, I think just by getting Kemp and Puig, I think it tips it in their favor. That's just me though, because those are two really good players. Although Kemp is on the decline, although he has his moments, but I think getting Puig is good. And well, now that I think about it, this is actually a lot more even than I thought it was.
And that's what I was. I mean, for me, the Reds, they improved, but I don't know. It might only be marginally. I don't know if it's enough to overtake the Chicago Cubs or the Milwaukee Brewers, but barring some massive growth from their youth, however, they at least have some veteran presence, Matt Kemp and Yasiel Puig, which may help them in taking that next step in their rebuild.
Right.
That might be the biggest thing for the Reds, is that they're trying to maybe even legitimize their city and be like, look, well, maybe we can attract free agents or have some of our younger guys stay here and show that, we're making a push towards getting this back on track towards contention in their division, because they're in the Central Division, the National League Central, and the Pirates had a surprisingly good season. The Cardinals are still in that mix, always trying to find a way to to keep themselves competitive. The Brewers broke out finally, and of course the Cubs have been the cream of the crop for quite a bit. So the Reds have just kind of been the punching bag as they've tanked and are going through a lot of really tough growing pains for their rebuild. However, they have improved, and this trade only makes that transition towards their next step easier. As far as the Dodgers are concerned, I don't know if it makes much of a difference. Homer Bailey does, but as far as the pitching is concerned, and obviously this is the Dodgers freeing up cap space. They've already freed up right field now for Bryce Harper, and that's probably why this move was made. Because Harper, he's from Vegas, so the closest team would be those California teams like the Dodgers.
Right.
For him, he has shown some expressions towards wanting to play for a team like the Dodgers, and And the Dodgers have the dough to give Harper that $350, $400 million contract he'd probably be searching for. Or another thing that was thrown about is the Dodgers could offer Harper maybe not a long deal, but a shorter deal where the average salary would be record-breaking as well.
Right.
So he could be making $40 million per year.
I'm sure he'd actually take
for
that.
5 seasons instead of over 10 seasons, or something.
I'm sure
like that.
He'd prefer that.
So that the Dodgers aren't tied to an aging superstar at the end of the... Because that's what usually happens.
Right.
Is like Albert Pujols signed a massive, 10, 11-year contract with the Angels, but the Angels kind of have to pay for it at the end because they're paying superstar money to an aging superstar. Yes, Hall of Famer, but he's not going to be producing towards those numbers.
This is
those
not
last 2 or 3 seasons.
This is not mid 2000s Albert Pujols.
Yeah, this isn't Albert Pujols hitting that home run silencing Houston in 2005, nor is it Pujols in that 2011 World Series run. But the Dodgers maybe want to avoid Harper at 35 plus, when you could have Harper in his prime right now and pay premium for that prime. However, if it leads to a World Series championship,
it's worth every dime.
Yeah, because they've been spending a ton and they have yet to win the World Series. All right, Charles, any thoughts?
Yeah, very briefly, because you kind of both hit the nail on the head here for me.
For both.
Here's the thing: it's shedding salary for Dodgers. It's shedding salary and a headache. You're trying to help out, get as much guys as you can get away, so you can get a chance at Harper, and it's a possibility. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows where he's going to go, and I think he's going to be that free agent who doesn't sign the big deal on day one of the winter meetings, day 2, day 3, whatever. He's going to take his time because he can, and he's going to see what the best fit is. I do like the idea that you can get him on a short year deal, but the whole thing is that if he's going to look for a long deal anyway, wouldn't he just go to an AL team? So maybe he might just chip out and see what he can get now in the short term and then get something in the long run. But that's speculation when speculation can't help us. I think this is more for the Dodgers to get rid of the headache that is Yasiel Puig. When Mattingly was there, they kind of very contentious with each other. Puig was bench, sent to the minors, came back up. He didn't kind of learn his lesson. There had been trade requests that came into it. And even with Dave Roberts, who's more even-keeled than Mattingly, it's kind of like, I can't deal with this kid. And he didn't really kind of show up in the postseason that much anyway, so what's the idea of I'm going to invest in you to be my guy, Mr. All-Star, Mr. Rookie of the Year, Mr. MVP quality guy, and you can't show up. And then Matt Kemp, here's the thing about Matt Kemp. They had him before, and they traded him away. He's on the decline. He had a good resurgent year, but this is more or less them just saying, let's not fall in love with a guy who's kind of been a mainstay for a good portion of his career for us. Clip it. He's 33. He'll be 34. His on-base percentage is kind of there. His batting average is nice. But let him go to the Reds. And for the Reds, I mean, they've always kind of gone downhill since they got rid of Dusty Baker, because when you get rid of a competent manager, you implode the team.
As competent as you can get for Dusty Baker.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, in baseball, it's very true that teams will stay in the bottom of that cellar for a long time. So sometimes, being a team that gets to back-to-back-to-back playoffs, enjoy it, because now, since he's kind of ruined the day, right? I mean, they got rid of Cueto, shifted him around a little bit, they implode. So I don't think it's going to kind of wet the whistle of fans in Cincinnati that, hey, we got Yasiel Puig, we know he's a headache, but he has potential, because we love potential, right? But maybe it's a step in the right direction. It's just that whole division stack, man. I mean, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Cardinals. The Cardinals are only going to get better because they got a couple free agents. The Pirates are going to try, and they're Cincinnati. Be like, all right, from 67-95, what's the best scenario that we're going to get? And it's probably, with all this, 75 wins?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably their goal, is to improve by at least 10 games. That's my goal as a Marlins fan, honestly, is, hey, instead of 99 losses, let's get to 89 and see what happens. Okay. Speaking of, kind of transition here to, I guess, a topic. Since it's 2019 now, a lot of people have their resolutions. And I decided about sports resolutions for you guys, or maybe for some teams you're following. So, do you guys have any sports resolutions for yourselves or for your teams?
You want to take this one, Andrew?
I mean, I could start off and
Yeah,
kind
go
of give.
ahead.
I mean, for me, as from a personal standpoint, I'd like to be comfortable enough. Hey, what's up, KLW? How you doing?
Hey there.
We're actually talking about our sports resolutions for this year. What we want for ourselves in sports, and maybe we want for our teams in sports, and some goals that we would like for them or ourselves to hit. And for me, it'd be buying season tickets for any of the teams that I like down here, except for the Dolphins. Except for the Dolphins, I'm not paying season ticket prices for that team because I know they're gonna tank. I buy season ticket, like any sort of package, maybe even a small one, maybe like a 10-game package for like the Marlins or the Heat or the Florida Panthers. And if I had to go for one of them, it'd probably be the Panthers, just to support them because I think they need the most support out of all of them. Jeter's fine. You're fine, Derek. I'm sorry. I would put the Panthers over you, but don't worry. I like the new uniforms. I bought my dad a hat. So you're good. But for myself, it'd be buying season tickets because it'd mark a milestone for me as a fan, and also as I guess an adult too. I'd finally have enough to, be in that sort of group of people. Hey, I have season tickets to such and such team. I know Andrew, you got season tickets to the Knights, right? So, I don't know. How does that feel as a fan?
I like it personally. I mean, I always enjoyed going to the games as a student. And I went to pretty much every game that I could. But it's something about being able to say, I'm a season ticket holder. You get this lanyard. You get a hard plastic card with your info on it. I don't know, something about that is kind of makes you feel special, makes you feel kind of a part of a club. And you know that you're supporting your school, which I know already gave them like hundreds of thousands of dollars to go there. But I don't know, it's interesting, and I enjoy it. I mean, I re-upped. This is my, I think this is my third year being a season ticket. This will be 2019 will be my third year. So it's cool. It's interesting. I enjoy it. If I had more money, I would be a season ticket holder for other teams, so long as I could actually go to enough games to make it financially worthwhile.
Yeah. Because
like UCF, my tickets this past year it was like $120. If I could go to 0 games, that doesn't make any financial sense. But since I was able to go to enough games to make that worthwhile, then yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing I'd like to experience myself is, they always have the teams have like their season ticket showcase or whatever. Like people go, they sit in the seats, they see where they want to sit, how much they want to pay, how many games they want to get. So I'd like to have that experience too, where it's maybe I have somebody showing me around. Because I don't know if I could get tickets. I don't know if I would want like upper deck seats. I'd maybe want something a little nicer. Even if I had to choose less games, I'd like something a little nicer down below.
The other cool thing about it, at least on my end, is you don't have to go through all of the websites. You can just say, you know what, I want to go to the game today.
Yeah, no StubHub, no SeatGeek.
You just go. I mean, I think anybody would still just go if they wanted to, but it's cool that you just like, all right, pick up and go. You don't have to go through the hassle of going through StubHub and all that. It makes you feel like a real fan because you're not just giving you're not going one game at a time. You're a part of something.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to feel as far, especially like with the Panthers, because I threw so much of myself into them. Even becoming a super hardcore fan, and then they rewarding me in some sense with press pass and things like that. Like, I'd like to kind of re-up the favor in some sense, even though I've already sat in the best seats you could ever get at a Panthers game, which is literally the owner's seats.
Right.
So there's nowhere to go but down from there.
You lucky dog.
But still, I know I'm.
Wait, owner of the team?
Yes.
I'll ask you after this, since it'll take too long to discuss. But
it just the fact that I got press pass, I wrote and stuff, and just got lucky that the owners offered me a seats.
You're right. It just goes down from there.
I actually swayed the seating arrangement at the BB&T Center. So
wow.
So that's just a secret thing. Well, not really a secret. People know. But, okay. Besides that, okay, fan resolutions or sports resolutions for teams. Just two of them, two teams. FSU football. Don't embarrass ourselves for 2 seasons in a row. That's all I want. Okay? FSU football, get your stuff together and become the Seminoles, as you are a football powerhouse. Don't embarrass us for 2 seasons in a row. Okay? Or at the very least, if you're gonna suck, beat the Gators and the Hurricanes and we'll be fine. That's all. Okay? And finally, the Miami Marlins. Derek Jeter, please, I don't care how you do it, within this year, find your future anchor superstar. I don't care if you have to trade for him, you have to draft them, you sign them through free agency, you get them through indentured servitude, whatever it takes, get your superstar this year and start building around them, because, man, the Marlins need somebody. They need a beacon, a guy that you can look to and say, that's our guy. He's going to be here. That's our Chris Bryant. Mm-hmm. That's our Jock Peterson. That's our guy. All right, that's me.
All right, how about you, Charles?
Mine's pretty simple. Buy modern sports memorabilia or stuff. Swag, anything. I mean, I have a couple of hats, and my Tennessee Titans hat is about 8 years old, 9 years old. I feel like it's time for a change. I have a couple of Yankee hats I can improve on. It's just, the thing is for them, it's always the same color, blue or black. And that's it.
You don't get the different colors like I do?
Yeah, I can't wear as many hats as I used to.
Yeah.
And, so it's like I don't get that opportunity, and then the only time you'll catch me on wearing a hat now, in a professional version of Charles, is when, I'm at the gym and I don't want clients to see me or respondents to see me to play an incognito, because I look like a man-child as it is, so it definitely helps me in my favor. I always contemplate about getting a jersey, but I'm a tiny guy, I just basically look like the guy who got into his dad's clothing, and I don't need to do that. So we go with hats, We go with hats. That sounds like the better option. So I mean, the only reason one I have is a Miami Heat hat, and I was looking at that Vice hat. I'm like, ooh, this is fly. But I forget that I just dress like a bum half the time, and I don't have to be a professional guy. But I'm trying. So that's gonna be my thing. Whatever it is, whatever team it is, get a modern day look. I don't care if I gotta buy a special edition of like the Vice, shoes if they ever make them, which would be awesome. Because I like the aesthetics. I'll be behind that, or I'll do the tank top. I don't care. I'll look jacked doing it. But
I'll make you. I'll special custom make the Atlanta Heimlich maneuver tank tops.
Please do. Let everybody know that I got them.
Show up to the Marlins Braves game.
Yes, that's my resolution, I guess.
Okay.
For me, in terms of teams, you can probably guess that this is going to be related to UCF. Just have another good season. It doesn't have to be another perfect season or 12-1 season.
Yeah, you guys took brunts on social media.
I know.
Yesterday.
hopefully it'll die down eventually because it gets very tiring and I have to kind of stay away from social media because it just gets annoying. It's not that I'm afraid of them; it's annoying.
Yeah, I can get that.
I just want them to have another good season. I want the whole athletic department to have another well-rounded, good season. Our athletic director, Danny White, wants us to be a top 25 athletic department across the board. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, how's your baseball team? I never really hear about you.
We're actually not bad.
Okay.
We had a couple of good years with with our old coach Terry Rooney, but he's kind of tapered off the end, so now he's an assistant at Alabama. Our current coach is Greg Lovelady. He's a former catcher for Miami. Won a national championship with them.
When?
01.
01? Huh. Because I was coached, or at least I was trained in pitching by, I don't know if he's still the all-time winningest pitcher in Hurricanes college baseball history, but he was one of the best. Alex Santos. Actually, he was, I think he was friends with Alex Cora. Because I think they went to school together. Because Alex Cora was a alum, and of course, Cora just won the World Series.
Right.
So, just a tangent there, but he might have played with Alex Santos. So
it's possible. I'm sure I can look that up. We came awfully close to making the playoffs last year. That eventually fell through, but we're getting there.
So
UCF, Lightning.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lightning. I'd like to see them win a Stanley Cup, but again, I'm not.
You're wary.
I'm wary.
Yeah.
Same with the Rays. I don't think they'll win a Stanley Cup, but I'd like to. I'd leave.
Was that a joke? Was that intentional?
No.
Oh.
Well,
I'd love to see the Rays win the Stanley Cup.
I would like to see them win the Stanley Cup as well. I don't think they'll win the Commissioner's Trophy, the World Series. You still get a kick out of that, don't you?
What?
That slip.
Yeah, no, it made me think of, because speaking of UCF, because I was looking at the tweets, and I was looking at this guy who tweeted something like the season, like before the season started, like around August. Mm-hmm. For everybody says for UCF to be even qualified to the playoff, our schedule should be like this: Alabama, Florida, Florida State, Miami,
right,
Georgia. All these, he's just naming all these superpower teams, and I'm like, I think I commented to him like. We have to beat the Dolphins and the Jaguars and the Buccaneers. Like, just naming all these ridiculous teams that they would have to go through just to be considered for the playoff.
Right.
And I'm like, you guys might want to face the Washington Capitals and Golden State Warriors while you're at it. Maybe then you'll be placed in the playoff. Okay, I digress. Okay, so good season by the Rays, especially since they won 90 games.
We had a great season this year. No one will mention that because we didn't make the playoffs. But we did have a very good year.
I mean,
it's tough to win 90 games.
I mean, but that American League
East.
The American League in general was so top heavily with the surprising Oakland A's. So really, with the A's, who knows if they're going to build on that season, because they're the A's. They're either going to be super awesome for they could moneyball their way to 100 wins one season, and the next season they're trading off their assets at the deadline, the trade deadline. So with the A's, it's a toss up whether they're going to be good or not this season. So maybe that opens up a wild card spot for a team like the Rays, who also kind of, I guess, sort of moneyballed their way there too, but the Rays kind of operate differently in some sense, because they actually at least made the World Series, which the A's have yet to do under Billy Beane. And the American League East, yes, you have the Red Sox and you got the Yankees, so you pretty much assured that the Yankees or the Red Sox will take one of those wild card spots.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I mean, that Central was terrible. That American League Central was just supremely awful. Joe Mauer has retired now, so who knows how that's going to affect the Twins. And the Rays could have a shot as long as one of those AL West teams doesn't rise up.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see the Jags make it back to the playoffs and not completely.
They were probably the most disappointing.
They were extremely disappointing this year.
Yeah.
As a fan, personally, I want to kind of jump off of what Charles said. I would like to go and get some jerseys. UCF Hockey has a really good jersey set, and they do sell some.
I think you have to buy them at the game, though, right? Yeah.
The Lightning, their jersey look is okay. But I would still get one just out of principle.
Yeah.
I guess I would get a baseball jersey too, but really more the sweaters. It's kind of odd to wear a baseball jersey around. The hockey sweater makes a bit more sense.
You know which baseball? I guess since we're talking about merchandise, one of my favorite things that I actually have. I don't know if you remember the baseball sweaters from, let's say, circa late '90s.
Which one?
They were starter jackets.
Yeah.
And especially the Marlins one, because it's black with the Marlins script logo in teal, with the sleeves in teal. It's got on the F logo on on the sleeves, and it's got the teal striping pattern. Like it's glorious. It's like the '90s threw up on it, but I love it. And I got it as a kid, so it was actually, they were expensive too. They were like $150. And I remember my mom's boss actually bought it for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Because he's got a bit of money, and he was a baseball fan, so he was a New York Giants fan actually. So that's how old he was. That is exactly it. I still have it too. It fits me now that I've lost the weight, but it's a little short on me.
Yeah.
Since I got it when I was like 11, but it's a great one. Even though it doesn't keep you that warm, you have to wear something under it if you want to, wear it out.
Yeah.
It's cold, but we're in Florida, so how many times am I going to bust that out?
Right.
So, yeah.
So that's kind of it for me. I know that's kind of boring, but I just want all of my teams to do well. Even if it doesn't end up resulting in a championship, except for the Lightning, because I feel like they should win the cup, but...
They should. This is it. Like
this or next year.
If they don't win, this or next year. If they don't win this one, especially with how awesome they are right now, it's really like people are really, especially for Stamkos, gonna be basically what happened to Steve Yzerman. For the longest time, he was known as a choke artist with the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Like they just never got to it, or like Alex Ovechkin, the same thing. So Stamkos might have that hanging over his head if the Lightning don't find a way to seal the deal. All right.
And that's about it. Should we head to another segment?
Yeah. Let's see here. I guess we can go to players we remember to forget. I don't know if you guys have anybody you want to talk about, but I've got a pretty interesting guy in some sense.
Yeah, I noticed.
So.
All right, go ahead.
Alrighty. Anybody, Charles, before I start?
No, I want to hear your pitch on this.
Sometimes you guys, piggyback off of me and start going down the rabbit hole of these guys.
Although we are running a little bit low on time.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to get to it. Okay, so my guy is a former NBA player, Antonio McDyess. Don't know if that rings a bell for anybody.
No.
He played for quite a while. It does?
Yeah.
Alrighty, good. Alright, so Antonio McDyess. He played for the Denver Nuggets, the Phoenix Suns, the New York Knicks, the Detroit Pistons, and the San Antonio Spurs from 1995 to 2011. He was drafted by the LA Clippers. He went to the University of Alabama, so we got some Alabama reference there since they're going to the national championship game again. He made the 2001 All-Star team for the Western Conference. He won an Olympic gold medal in 2000 in Sydney, Australia. And this is kind of the story that kind of was interesting to me. What stood out for him was so he was traded just before the season after he was drafted to the Denver Nuggets. And he played there for about 2 seasons. Before the 3rd season, he was traded to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns had an awesome season that year with a young Jason Kidd. And so he was a free agent after that, though. So during that offseason, he was mulling over his options, and he decided to talk to the Denver Nuggets again. Mm-hmm. And so he was being wooed by the Nuggets at that time. And so Jason Kidd, Rex Chapman, and George McLeod of the Phoenix Suns decided to fly through a snowstorm to convince him to stay in Phoenix.
Huh.
Okay, now the reason it was a snowstorm was because this was the 98 lockout shortened season that was coming up. So it was winter when this happened. McDyess was with the Nuggets GM watching a Colorado Avalanche game, and Jason Kidd and his crew arrived to the arena, the McNichols Arena, and the GM found out that they were there.
Oh boy.
And so he called down to security to not let them in. Okay, so this is kind of like the the center for he plays for the Mavericks now.
Nowitzki?
No, the center for the Clippers before.
DeAndre
Jordan. Gosh darn it, yeah. Well, when DeAndre Jordan was wooed back to the Clippers, it's kind of has that sort of feel. But yeah, he wouldn't let them in to the arena, and thus McDyess signed with the Nuggets again. Funny thing is, then he went on to. He was actually an up-and-coming player until he was injured in around 2002, I believe. I think he had a terrible season with the New York Knicks, but who doesn't have a terrible season with the New York Knicks? And finally, he wasn't the same player after he had like a devastating knee injury. He reinvented himself and went to the Detroit Pistons, and he revived his career as a good sixth man for the Pistons, and then finally ended his career in San Antonio. Never won a championship, unfortunately, but he was a good, solid player for quite a long time. So Antonio McDyess, I don't know what he's doing now. I couldn't find any information as to what he's up to. Maybe he's just enjoying retirement. Maybe he's a low-key type of guy and doesn't want people to know what he's doing. But hopefully he's not in crippling gambling debt. All right, that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I remember McDyess, and he was a pretty decent player. I mean, he's just a typical bench guy that came in after the injuries. So it was interesting that you mentioned. I'm like, well, he wasn't terrible. But
No, he wasn't terrible.
Sometimes you get guys in these segments that they just kind of brought back. It's like a trip of nostalgia coming back in for us.
Yeah.
Down memory lane.
Yeah, so that's McDyess. If you guys don't have anybody.
Nah, I don't.
No, you don't. Okay. Alrighty, so I did that.
You want to go to my favorite segment?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Because I don't have any Spanish team names, I'll tell you that much. So we can go to your favorite segment. I don't know, you probably have the scoreboard up for.
Yep.
Okay. So this is our little game that we play. Guess that college team name. There's a ton of college basketball going on, as always. It seems like there's 100 games every day.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those schools, we have no idea where they are from and what their name is, what their colors are. But Andrew most likely does, and thus me and Charles are subjected to torture.
Actually, believe it or not, I picked some pretty tough ones this time. I don't even know some of these.
It's tough every day for me, so I don't believe you.
We do improve little by little. We do improve.
Okie doke. So That's going to be an interesting tidbit. Anyway, so let's go. We will start with Vermont versus Dartmouth.
Vermont. Oh, I know Vermont because of college hockey. The Catamounts.
Correct. Very good.
That's right.
The Catamounts, which is your favorite species of...
It's a type of puma. Could be a cougar, a mountain lion, or a panther. Yeah.
Against Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
And if for our viewers at home, if you're actually there, feel free to chime in if you know any of these.
The Dartmouth mouth darts.
No.
The Dartmouth Baders. There you go. So they call themselves
The Darth Vaders.
No. But I will give you a hint. It is an adjective word. It's an adjective name plus a color.
No, you're getting into grammar for me. I suck at grammar.
So it's kind of, it's not like Cardinals. It's like Fighting Irish. So it's a descriptor word. It's a two-name.
So is it a people? Is it a people?
No, it's
an animal.
No.
Or it's a concept.
It's a color.
It's a color. Okay.
It's a descriptor and a color.
The blues.
No.
Okay.
Remember, it's two words.
Oh, the angry blues.
No. Charles.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I know.
The purple
Eaters.
purple pillows.
Those are the Vikings.
You guys, Uncle, give up?
Yeah, man.
I uncle it. I uncle it so hard right now.
The Dartmouth Big Green.
The big
What?
green.
So they're a Jolly Rancher flavor?
Okay.
Okay, next.
Are they,
Fire that AD who gave the name.
are they Jolly Green Giant? Like, is there that should be their mascot?
Let's find out.
Or is it just like the Syracuse Orange, just a big green circle?
Let's see. Although orange makes sense that it's a circle because orange is both a color.
I mean, or is Dartmouth like a celery stick or something? I don't know.
I'm looking that up right now. Okay. Oh, this is too good.
What is their mascot?
This is too good. I didn't know this.
Okay,
I have to confirm that this is true. Okay, it's not their official mascot, thank God, but their unofficial mascot is Keggy the Keg.
Hold on. I gotta Google this.
It's a giant
and
keg.
put it on screen.
That is such a bro.
Hold on. I gotta put this on Google. Hold on, real sec.
Keggy the Keg. I love it.
Dartmouth mascot. Holy, are you kidding me? Keggy?
Keggy the Keg. It's an anthropomorphic keg.
Oh boy. It is real. Look, it says official next to this.
I need pictures. I'm looking right now. What?
I just pulled it up on screen.
It looks like something that came out of The Simpsons.
Yeah, it looks like the Duff beer mascot or something.
No, it's basically a live-action form of Bender from Futurama. And he's just going around every time they win a game. Oh, Dartmouth, Keggy, you're so good. Shut up, baby. I know it.
This is great.
Can we add him to our non-sponsor of the week?
Yeah, Keggy the Keg. You know what? You are doing a great job, dude. Okay, he could be at Buffalo Wild Wings right now.
I'm gonna go look for him.
Okay, so Keggy the Keg represents the Dartmouth Big Green.
He should be in Super Smash Brothers. Really? I'd main him, that's for sure.
Okay. Okay. Okay, next up we've got Bucknell versus Army.
Okay, the Army is the Black Knights.
Correct.
Okay.
That's not why I chose this game.
Okay, so Black, was it?
Bucknell.
Bucknell.
I swear if they're not the Bucknell Buckeyes, I'm just gonna give up faith in humanity. That makes more sense.
Okay, so it's not alliteration, so they're not
It
the
actually
Bucks.
is an alliteration.
So they're the Bucks?
But it is not the Buckeyes.
Okay, not the Bucks, like the Milwaukee Bucks?
No. But it is an alliteration, though.
So it starts with a B, then.
It does start with a B.
Okay.
The Bucknell Buckets? Because that's awesome. If they're
Which
going
would go with
under
Keggy right here.
Sadly, the name does not begin with Buck. Or it does not rhyme with Buck in any way, shape, or form.
So it's not the alma mater of Joe Buck. Okay,
right.
That's fine. I'm just gonna leave Keggy here on the corner.
Bucknell Boy Scouts.
It's not the Boy Scouts.
Is it a people?
No, it is a creature. It's an animal.
Okay, bears. No, that's too easy.
No.
That is too easy. You said that these would be interesting in some sense.
This is interesting in some sense.
Okay.
It's not the most interesting name I've ever heard, but it's decent.
Okay.
I hope they're the Bucknell Bandits, because that sounds so cool.
Bandit is not an animal.
Bandicoots? Like Crash
No.
Bandicoot? Okay. Barracudas.
No.
Bucknell Bats.
It's a land-based animal.
Okay, land base. Okay, so...
And it is very, or at least used to be, very common in the United States. Particularly in the mountain Midwest.
Buffalo?
Bucknell Bearcats.
Bison.
Bison. Okay. Alright, bison.
You were getting
Missed
close.
opportunity.
Alright, next up is...
Speaking of, I'm going to look up his mascot.
Next up is Illinois State versus Valpo, or Valparaiso, as it's officially known.
Okay.
So,
Illinois State.
another animal.
Okay.
It's an air-based animal.
Okay, so Illinois...
By air-based, I mean it flies.
Okay, so... Falcon?
No.
Condor.
It's a colored bird.
That tells me nothing.
The name has a color in it.
Golden Eagles.
No.
Red Hawks.
There's actually a shopping center here in Miami near Coral Gables that has the same name.
Wow,
Because it's the cross of two major roads.
Okay, so it's on Bird Road? Yeah, maybe?
Redbirds.
Redbirds. Okay. Alright, so...
And then the more interesting one, that one was okay. The next one is Valparaiso.
Okay, Valparaiso.
It's
Valparaiso, let's say.
It's a human. It's a medieval type human.
A crusader. Okay, alright.
Right off the bat, it is the Valparaiso Crusaders.
I've actually been watching this YouTube channel called Extra History. I've been hearing about crusades and things like that, so maybe I just pop top of my head. So.
All right, so last but not least, North Florida, we all know, is the Ospreys.
Okay.
They're taking on an NAIA team, which is a lower level of college sports.
Right. It's like community college type of stuff.
Higher than that.
Oh, okay.
But, and I didn't even know this school existed. Florida National University.
Oh, Florida Nationals. They're like, I think they're in like Hialeah or something. They actually might be close to where I live. But I have seen like at least a building on the Palmetto.
Now that I think about it, I have heard of that.
Like on the Palmetto.
Right.
So
not to be confused with Florida International University, which is our law school alma mater. Florida National University.
National.
Another human mascot.
Human. Okay. Cavaliers.
It does start with a C.
Oh. Cavaliers. Not Crusaders, I'm assuming.
No. Would make it that easy for you.
It's a human. So
It's a human.
It is a human.
I'm assuming it's not Native American.
No.
Okay.
It's an older human. Older in the sense of that's when they existed, really.
Okay, so
Pirates.
No.
pirate. Okay,
Dang.
Another land-based type human.
land-based human. Oh,
Well, geez. The Pilgrims.
Well, I would.
we're getting close, are we?
Eh.
Like timeline-wise of human history,
We're talking like 1500s here.
1500s.
Very, very prevalent. Very prevalent, actually, in Florida, if I know my history well enough.
Okay, so Ponce de Leon type of guy.
That would be
Okay. What are they called? Conquistadors. Yeah, there we
the
go.
Florida National University Conquistadors.
I knew my Latin heritage would come back to help me.
That's a mouthful right there.
Okay.
And fun fact before we head out here,
Yeah.
FIU, Florida